this point in my life, I can only do what I want to do. So if I'm doing it, I'm obsessed. Fort Andross, Brunswick, Maine. It's big, shiny, dumb fun. I'm a painter now. My rule was only nails, always different. I never got to linger and repeat myself. A year before the pandemic, I started stopping welding nails, and I'd always wanted to be a songwriter, and so I spent the first year and a half just writing songs. I have a band called Bright Common, and I hadn't moved materials in a while, and I get kind of sad and weird and melancholic and maybe grumpy if I don't physically manipulate something other than a guitar. So it was like either I go back to nails, and I felt like, why would I do that? Why not see what I've learned? 35 years of singular focus on one item. So I picked painting because I live with the great painter, and I knew I could take classes from her. She choked me down to 2 questions a day after the first week, 1 in the morning, 1 at the supper lunch. But she taught me a lot, still is. So I'm just having a blast, having no idea what I'm doing for the first time in a long time, and just letting myself take a lot of risks, make a lot of failures, find a lot of successes. And I'm in the discovery business. And with the nails, I wasn't. I was in the manufacturing and fabrication business. I never ever thought it would be 35 years later I'd look up and be like, I still have a handful of nails. So it's the lesson was not the nail, it was the infinity of everything. You think you use one thing for a long period of time and you cone in on your options. It's actually an explosive volcano the other way, where you actually have too many options. You can't, you keep seeing things. The only problem was once that vision reached me, my creative process was over. Then I had to stand there and become my own employee. This is a much more dynamic, fluid, uncertain, present practice. I was really good at just standing somewhere and knowing what I had to do for 3 months every day. And I got there, but it was, it just kind of killed my spirit a little bit maybe, because I really am in the discovery game. Failure should be built in and expected and embraced. If you fuck up on a frequent basis, that means you're trying something you're not sure how to do. One of my favorite lines about art comes from the very strange painter Riley Brewster, who said, if you get to where you wanted to go, something's gone wrong. That's what that's what the nails were. The nails were getting the vision and then not deviating from it. Yeah, it was just time. And I'd be a dumbass to not look up, not take that lens I polished and for 35 years and just stared at a nail, and not look up and see if I've learned anything. These are actually made of nails. Those are nails. Those are nails. It turns out everything we do, even if it's a different material, is still us, right? So everything's autobiographical. I am still a nail. It's true. My shame is great, but my joy is expansive.
What would you do? What would you do if you found out it all was true? Who would you tell? Would you tell anyone? Or would you hide up in your room Don't be shy, I won't tell. And don't be scared, I ain't no ghost.
When I was probably 4 years old, I was obsessed, and I made a series of, I called them hammers, oddly enough, where I just find old bits of wood, and I got my screwdriver, which I referred to as my drill, and I would auger a hole in a chunk of wood, and then I'd whittle a stick, and I'd stuff it in there, and I'd call it a hammer, and I'd carry them in my belt, or my belt loops. And then when I was about 9 or 10, I started making canes and pipes. I was practicing to be an old man. And then it was like, I started smoking pot at probably 13 or 14, and that kind of opened a window for me where I had permission and focus and space to start to collide and invent, and that just never stopped. I made a rule with myself very early on, because I love pot and I love beer, that I'm only allowed to use these things if I am working. I have sort of the antithetical philosophy. I'm not allowed to sit around and get high and get drunk. So that means I make a lot of art. Right? They're laughing. Can't hear, they got the silent filmmaker laugh going. There it is. But it's a good philosophy because it never gets out of hand. And that extends to songwriting too. Yeah, I love this stuff. And I know it's dangerous. I really don't care about art. I care about what I make, but I don't go and seek art out. I don't look at art. I don't need to. I'm not a fan. I never have been. I'm not. Emily has to drag me to museums and galleries. Like, I don't want to go. I'm happy that people are doing it, right? But I'm not a consumer of art. I'm an obsessive maker. But yeah, I don't do a lot of studio visits. I don't have people up here. This is why I didn't want to let you guys up here, because it's a very private thing. I consider myself to be a monk. I really do. I just want to be alone all day long, and then go home to Emily after she's been home alone all day long. And what do? We eat dinner and read the New York Times, and then we play Texas Hold'em for the dishes. And the following night, supper lunch. Yeah, people are confused by my outgoing gregariousness, but I'm really an introvert. I'm not going to be standing following these things around for the rest of my life, telling people what to think. It only matters what you think. And that's why people are afraid of art, right? Because people think they need to know something. They don't validate their own impression and their own intuition. Think about music. Right? You can ask anybody to listen to any piece of music, and they'll instantly be able to give you an intuitive response, right? I like it, I don't like it. It made me think of the forest, it made me think of the desert, whatever. You show anybody a work of contemporary art, and you say, what do you think of it? What are they going to say?
I don't know.
I love you got your phone on during this. What are they going to say? I don't know. I don't know. Like, they're not even allowed, they don't even feel comfortable to render a thought because they think they're missing sedimentary levels and layers of art historical context. That's why I love the nail. I love the nail. Miss you guys. Because everybody had a relationship with the nail. There's no insecurity there. It's like a gateway drug. People can instantly feel comfortable. But with anything else, if you're not steeped in the priesthood like we are, it makes folks very uncomfortable. Maybe there is no wall text. I never try to have wall text in my shows. Like, why do I need a wall text? That's what the work is for, right? If you got to talk about it, something's gone wrong. Something's gone very wrong if you have to describe the thing that you've created. Everything's got to be contextualized, and there's just no wiggle room. These are answers. The danger with that is people think that there's an answer, and if you don't have that answer, then you're useless. But bad art is an answer, But people want to live with a landscape and a sunset that never changes. They don't want to wake up and be questioned by their walls, But I do. Great art is different every day. I don't think it's that hard. You have to have really good work. You have to make work that isn't trying to outsmart anybody, right? There's wonderful work that is, right? There's wonderful. I'm trying to make wonderfully dumb art. All the people I love are, right? Work that doesn't come with the baggage of a construct. We're just trying to make experiences. And once people understand that it's a piece of music, they like it or they don't. If they don't, God bless them, but at least they were able to say that rather than, I don't know, right? And how exciting if they were able to say, well, I love this, and then why? Hanging out with the Waffle Man every day, and waking up and getting to do whatever I'm obsessed with. That is success. Having just enough money to not have to freak out, which I often do, because I don't make a lot of money anymore. No one cares about my paintings. I have a show coming up at the Liz Moss Gallery, my first painting show in January. So at some point, hopefully people will clue in, and I haven't shared them, so I haven't had a lot of opportunity. My family thinks I'm a wacko. And they're right in a lot of ways, because I gave up a 35-year career where I had achieved a place where I could make a nice living. And when it all ended, I had 6 employees, and I was making things just to make payroll. And that was really dangerous. And that kind of killed me more than most things, I think. And it's wonderful to be an autonomous voyager again, out in the roiling sea in my little dinghy. I'm sure you've picked up on this, or your cameras have, but I have a huge ego. I like to try to keep it where it matters, which is just in the work. I have a huge aspirational ego, and I like to keep it just, again, right in front of me, on the wall or on the table, not in my head and my heart. So yeah, clearly I believe in this work, and I hope it has a life. But people want art as fashion. Let them have it. Because if the art rocks, that's going to seep in. They won't be able to escape the profundity of something in their space over a period of time. So in some ways, that's more intriguing, to have people buy things for the wrong reasons and then become deep converts. The worst thing I could say about art is that I'm making cool shit for rich people. The best thing I can say about art is I'm trying to transform myself and this world. The first big piece I sold was to a wonderful collector named Joey Kempfer, who's got a place in Maine, and it was a $12,000 sculpture that took me 8 months to make. It was like almost a year, and I thought that was so much money, 12 grand. And at the bottom of the check in the memo, he just wrote, "All great art is underpriced," and he was letting me know that he'd ripped me off, and that was a good thing. And I just thought that was the most beautiful and poignant little lesson that could have been delivered to me. You don't want to get ripped off your whole career, right? You want to raise your prices, people. It's only about the work. People get confused. It's something else. It's social media, very dangerous. It's connections, very dangerous. the work will take care of us. So you either love to work all day alone or you don't. That's it. And that's the measure. So if you're a young artist and you're serious, go be alone and go work for a year and see if that's what you love.